Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda commences tonight's Satsang with a Sanskrit peace chant.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with Mystic Song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is based on a poem by Swamiji. It's called I Am Air.
And we dedicate this song to Ucha, Rajneesh's mother. It was her favorite song. We hope she hears it.
In the ocean waves, I play without any care. I age in snowy hair, rejoicing in youth at a spring fair. Breaking the mountains, moving the stars, I am the all-powerful wind, giving rise and and wrap myself in the soft clouds. I mingle with snowy dew on morning flowers, giving wings to the flying white swans. I am opening the boughs to rob their fragrance. I blow the trumpet of thunder and gather clouds, causing the rains to run over the whole universe. I am laughing in snorting rivers, still I am We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is June the 2nd, 2020, Tuesday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Yoga Vasistha. This is series 2018, class number 243. And now Pujya Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adoration. Sadguru is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha Upsamprakarana, section 82, practice of enquiry by sage Vitahabhya. The very name of the sage Vitahabhya, Habhya is that stage of your spiritual practice in which you are involved with ritualistic performance. Havan, what you pour into the fire. From that Havan aspect comes Habhya. Habhya is that which is poured into the fire. But his Vita Habhya, that Habhya time is out. That whenever you hear this, it doesn't mean literally. You continue to do your rituals according to your convenience, but you are not limited by your ritual. No matter how enlightened you have to get up from your bed, wash your teeth, don't forget the eyes. So, your rituals will continue. But you don't spoil the day only because you couldn't get up well. Only if you are unable to do the rituals in the exact order that you needed to do. I'm giving a witty way to understand. In other words, you continue to be practicing rituals and early stages of your sadhana, yama, niyama, continue to do all those. But you are not confined to them. Your deeper level now is soaring into a profounder dimension. That's the picture of success in sadhana. Naturally, the details of the ritual will begin to diminish. You will not spend all your time looking into your incense, watching your candle, figuring out all the prasad you have gathered or not, blaming the people who didn't get it. I'm joking. But all that's what is implied. When you get so involved with details of a ritual, you hardly know what you are really doing. But here Vitahabhya is beyond that ritual level. So then what happens? And this is through all these stories and episodes, the purpose is to gain deep insight into how to attain enlightenment. Shri Vasistha continued, O Rama, listen to the manner in which sage Vithavya practiced the spiritual enquiry, leading him to the state of enlightenment. Long, long ago, sage Vithavya found the world as an ocean of disease, death, and suffering. He didn't find something new. That's what all great sages have found. That's what Buddha found. And therefore he adopted the path of sannyasa. Here again you have to understand, viewing the world as an ocean of disease, death and suffering, if you take it literally, you won't survive beyond 3 or 4 days. So, the idea to understand that your goal is not in the realm of time and space. Your goal is not in the realm of the world process. So, a form of uchchatan has developed in your mind. Uchchatan means you are not interested in this whole world. A turning away of the vision. So your vision is not simply trying to resolve why all there is misery, who can do what, who is to be blamed, all this politics goes on. You see. Your vision is not trapped by that. But at the same time, you are not trapped by anything of this world. You don't want anything. You don't want the mountains, you don't want the ocean, you don't want the sky, you don't want people, you don't have you don't want power, you don't want children and grandchildren. You want nothing. Why? Disgusted. Deep, mature vision, that your real purpose is nowhere to be found in the world. No matter what a wondrous state of prosperity God may place you. But is that the goal? So many people attain that and then you are blown away. So that mature understanding that your goal is not to stay settled in the world forever. Your goal is to attain, that's what now we are going to give you, attain enlightenment. And that inner maturity continues more and more, without interrupting your external practical reality. Externally, you will become more skilled, more focused on what you do, because you are not going after the fruit of karmas. You are not calculating, if I do this, what will be happen, and all the details catch your mind. Practical details are okay, but all imaginations that go with your every project. Because always you are thinking of how things happen in the past, how you want the future to be wonderful for you. Here again, from practical point of view, it's normal for your mind. But your maturer state should not allow itself be simply trapped only in resolving the practical details. What I was leading you to understand that while we say that one who is moving towards enlightenment sees the entire world full of disease, death and suffering, it is not to be interpreted as being deprived of happiness and is living a life of stress. But it means you are opening the window to profound happiness. And you are developing wings. And you are not interested to stay, you want to fly. 7 steps of wisdom are waiting for you. Abiding in the forests of the Vindhya mountains, he thus developed intense dispassion towards the objects of the world. The dispassion goes on increasing without interrupting your practical reality. Yes, what does it interrupt? Your rajasic and tamasic tendencies. Tamasic tendencies go on hating people. Rajasic becoming leaning upon people, giving importance to moha, delusional love. That you don't. But your life becomes more regulated by sattva. And righteous way of performing things become natural. That also is a progressive attainment. Your inner in your heart level, profounder understanding begins to develop more and more. In that development, there is no restriction. So, in storyline, he took to sannyasa. He got initiated into sannyasa order. Then he entered into a hut, not hot. Made of plantain leaves and seated in lotus pose on a deer skin, sought refuge in the self within. All this again is allegorical. Literally, you don't have to find a plantain leaf suited to you to form your seat. I will not go into details in that because that's easy to understand. He adopted the life of utter simplicity. You may have all external possessions, but you can be utterly simple. He commenced the practice of meditation and enquiry. Meditation drawing the mind, the vrittis of the mind that are scattered over so many things. And then as you learn to have focused state of mind, now concentration leads you to meditation. In Raja Yoga, meditation leads you further in deeper samadhi. Adopting the same process. But what's highlighted in this concentration, meditation and samadhi is a deep understanding of who am I, not ordinary object of meditation. Just as a setting sun withdraws its rays, even so he withdrew the scattered rays of the mind from the objects of the world and directed the mind towards the heart. Then, renouncing the external and internal contacts with the objects of the world, external contacts, internal contacts, that you have to understand. External means you are contacting people physically. Internal, even though you are separated from your near and dear one, but you have internal contact, constantly talking and receiving answers. But that's one aspect of internal and external illustration. And there are many, many aspects. He freed his mind of the subtle contacts in the form of vasanas. Remind you again, you have three obstacles. First, you go on sublimating malas, gross impurities. As you sublimate, mind gains so much strength and power that we don't know what to do with it. Now, that's called vikshepa. Vikshepa is to be handled by practice. All this is handled by practice of integral yoga. If you integrate your personality, then your understanding what your goal is become clearer. If you are not integrated, you are looking for goal that is not in one place, but in countless places. And that's called vikshepa. So you don't attain the goal because you are running in so many directions. And vikshepas are caused by vasanas, subtle desires or subtle impressions. So in the practice of your integration, the practice of your self-improvement, your insight has to go into how to build up Shubha vasanas, pure vasanas. And there is need of the role of faith. You begin to develop a faith that each time you are doing your sadhana, your meditation, your prayer, your kirtan, your japa, and performing good deeds, when you do all these, you forget about them next day. But your subtler state of mind doesn't forget about them. Impressions go into your subconscious and unconscious. And there, they are making a change in your deeper level of understanding and thinking. And that you begin to understand and realize. Therefore, no matter how things are in your daily life, you don't forget, you don't disconnect yourself from your sadhana. Your sadhana is doing amazing work. In his purified mind, he commenced spiritual enquiry in the following manner. This is a sample, an example, how you begin to reflect. He said to himself, "Lo, how amazing it is that the mind does not find rest even for a moment. And you are working with the same mind. In and through your own mind, you try to understand the role of your mind. And what you understand, mind does not stay at rest. Because if you are aware of time, it means your thought waves are moving one after another. Any awareness of worldly experience is like a cinema show. Show is going on, therefore you are seeing personalities doing their job according to the plot of the story. Projection stops, there is no job. Nothing is being done. And even while things go on flowing in the show, it is made up of succession of forms. One form after another is projected by the projecting machine. So if you understand that, and you understand it by utilizing the higher level of your chitta, and then realize how amazing it is. It is ever shaken by the objects of the world, even like a leaf that is tossed by the turbulent waves of the ocean. Like a ball being tossed back and forth, the mind continues to jump from object to object. And jumps both ways. Jumps to the object, then object turns to the subject. Bounce the ball bounce back to your own head. Go back and forth. That's a witty way of explaining what karma does. Karma is like a ball process. If suddenly your mind decides that's what you want, you threw a ball. Now, what you want came back and it hit your head. Next day, forget about it. You do the same thing. Go on bouncing the ball. So that's what the mind is doing day by day. In this way, it continues to maintain its dance of delusion. Whatever object one tries to restrain the mind from, towards that very object it runs like an intoxicated horse. Tell your mind, don't give attention to that. Now, each time you scratch your head, the mind says, what did you say? So the more you try to restrain, the more you are getting involved, and you don't succeed in your restraining, rather you get deluded. Like an intoxicated horse. It runs to divergent objects, even like a monkey jumping from one branch to another among the trees of a forest. Mind is a monkey. Let me hold a serious enquiry into the mind. Mind and senses, which are the internal instruments for the soul. O unfortunate senses, unable to experience the bliss of samadhi, you are constantly being tossed by the restless waves of the world. Why do you perpetuate your restless movements? By doing so, you only create sorrow and grief for yourselves. First point is to let yourself gain a simple insight that there is a need or there is technique of turning away from your mind and senses. And that technique is given by yoga exercises, yoga sadhana. Yoga nidra is one of the sample of it. No matter how things are, you make your plan that when you sit or when you lie down in relaxation, you move away from all that. You move away, you begin to exercise your mind. Switch your mind in such a way that you begin to create affirmation and a profound internal imagination without being disturbed by external world. It is difficult to understand. Try to understand how, in spite of whatever the world is and all the terror in the world, when you go to sleep, all moves away. So there is that type of internal level. If you turn to it, all move away, all does not count. By doing so, If you don't find that type of resting point, then what happens? You only create sorrow and grief for yourselves. Why don't you recall your experiences of the past which led you to so many sufferings? Here is just an ordinary instruction. Learn lessons from the past. O senses, you are in fact extensions of the mind. You do not have an independent existence. First maturity you have to gain. Senses are not separate from your mind. You cannot say, oh, my mind wants to control. But when my eyes see a lump of sugar, I can't control. What can I do? The eyes do it. But this is a kindergarten level. Maturer level, if your mind has understood that certain thing is not good for you, then what can the senses do? You can look at it only to know that it is to be avoided. So senses don't have independent existence. You appear like a mirage in the desert. All sense enjoyments like mirage. I, the witness self, am the light behind your functions. Without me, you are non-existent. Now coming to more higher level, senses are sustained by mind. But the entire mental process is sustained by I am. If your ego is not operating in your mind, all the functions of the mind have no meaning. But then ego itself is not the reality. What is the reality? The witnessing self. Even after you dream and sleep, when you wake up, you realize that your deeper self has been the same in your waking state, in your dream state, in your sleep state. And so as you go deeper towards the self, as your field of witness begins to expand. In other words, things happen and you have a special separate status where you are untouched by things you are witnessing. Put it in a very simple way, your mind, instead of just following what the mind says, you relax yourself and you begin to see. Mind is angry. Now, and you begin to understand, oh yes, 3 days before I have no anger. Now anger has come in. What should I do with it? When you are in that state, you are doing sakshi aspect. But when you are overpowered by anger, then you have no sakshi. You are not witnessing it. Something you want to study. some liquid soup. But somehow the soup is tossed on your eyes. Then you can't see it. But you put the soup a little distant, your eyes are seeing it. So that's the sakshi state, when you put the soup away. I'm the light behind your functions. If you go into that movement, the ultimate sakshi, the supreme sakshi, is the light of the self, absolute self. And that absolute self is I am. So Vitahabhya is referring to that I am. I, the witnessing self, am the light behind your functions. Without me, you are non-existent. This being so, why do you try to frighten me? When you come to that level of understanding that real you is absolute witness, nothing of the chitta can touch you. Soup is completely out. When you come to that state, then you begin to develop a deeper aspiration, not to stay with chitta, not to stay glued, as it were, with your mental process. Because that mental process in itself, in a storyline or in giving the talk, allegorically it is being described as if chitta is some substance separate from yourself. Think of your dream. In waking state, before you went to sleep, your chitta was in a different state. Chitta recognized the world you live in, etc. In dream state, you are a dream subject. The dream subject also has his chitta or her chitta. The one set of one real chitta gave rise to another, a deluded chitta. And this process goes on. We as if go into experiencing dream within dream. But if you turn your attention to your sakshi state, that without you all this is impossible. Without, think of very simple illustration of the sun and reflected sun in a jar. A reflected sun in a jar is subject to go through many experiences. And in those experiences, the reflected sun may find a delusional concept of attaining great prosperity, great adversity. But the real witnessing self, the sun, has nothing to do with all this. Though without the sun, your reflected self will not exist. Every moment the reflected sun is nothing but the sun. And without the sun, The reflected sun has no reality. And the reality given to the pot and to the water, all that is absolute illusion. Because all that cannot restrict the sun. Sun is far beyond. This being so, why do you try to frighten me? Come to a state of deep understanding that no matter how your mind can bring a whole lot of desperate, despair type of thoughts, or your intellect may say that now you have no possibility, you are completely finished. But no matter how it may happen, the real I am has not changed. So, therefore, O Chitta, don't try to frighten me. You are as false as the illusion of a snake seen in a rope during darkness. Just as a traveler keeps himself away from poisonous snakes, or a Brahmin keeps himself distant from chandalas. Here in this context means those who are doing, keeps distant from bad association. In the same manner, the self keeps itself at a far distance from the chitta. The entire mind stuff and all that goes through the mind stuff, like a cloud creates a display of the sun going through the cloud. The rays of the sun break into rainbows and do many other illuminations. But all that has nothing to do with the sun. The sun remains just the same. That sun is I am, not the sun that is trapped in the cloud. O Chitta, it is a light proceeding from the self that sustains your transient existence. Who knows the Chitta? The entire Chitta movement is not self-effulgent, what implying there is nothing. Chitta, it cannot know itself without the light of the self. O Chitta, it is a light proceeding from the self that sustains your transient existence. But unaware of this, you continue to seek pleasures of the objects, even like street dogs that continue to indiscriminately look for food. O wicked one, all these allegorical, your conviction that you are endowed with consciousness is illusory. It's like the whole dream goes on. But nothing of the dream is real. But while dreaming, your awareness, that awareness is same as consciousness, Your consciousness is so involved with the dream experience. But that consciousness is not your real consciousness. O wicked one, your conviction that you are endowed with consciousness is illusory. Without the light of the self, you are non-existent. In vain you have created the illusory ego center. And so, coming more precise, the very ego that goes through all the sufferings of the world, that ego is not your real I am. It is Chitta that has created it. And once Chitta dissolves, that ego is no longer there. It is a pot set of water that has given rise to reflected sun. If water is not there, the reflected sun is not there. The attitudes of the ego are like drifting clouds that do not affect the sky. Ego-based experiences versus the I am. The I am is the sky. Ego-based experiences are like clouds, countless clouds. Clouds can have all their thunder and rain and joy and sorrow. The sky gives room to all, but has nothing to do with them, untouched. That sky is the I am. That's Brahman. The clouds rumble and rain in vain. The self is ever untouched by the illusions created by the egoistic vision of a person. So your egoistic vision can have a tremendous display of imagination about I am, how I was in childhood. I am when I went to certain place, how I am did this, did that. And that I am is playing in you, creating a big world, and doing the same thing in every individual. All countless worlds that have come through your I am, they are nothing but mirage, no reality. But the I am, the absolute I am like the sky, that remains untouched. When it is impossible for you to account for your own existence, how can you give sustenance to others? Implying if Chitta itself is on shaky ground, all that Chitta displays, if Chitta tells you, oh, this is your house, it's very secure, but that's ridiculous. Chitta itself is insecure. The self from which you borrow the light of consciousness is the only reality. Chitta itself has no light implying there is no truth in its movement. O dull-witted one, why have you appeared in vain? So, seeing yourself separate from the citta, that's the theme, that's the highlight. And it's not one-step movement, you have to go on hearing again and again and again, from very many angles. Objects that appear like nectar in the beginning turn out to be like poison in the end. In spite of this, O Chitta, you continue to gather the impressions of actorship and enjoyership, implying I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. I conquered all those things, I possess them. But what you possess them are lots of cockroaches. So with this I'll conclude. Om. Ram, 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 Ram. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shri Krishnaya Namah, Om Shri Krishnaya Namah, Om Shri Krishnaya Namah. Om. Prayer for the shower of divine grace, of Karunamaya Ras for all. And sabko sarmati de Bhagwan. May God give that right understanding to every soul that will lead the soul to have three blessings: Shakti, strength, strength of faith; Bhakti, profound devotion, devotion to God; and finally, liberation. And with this, our prayer. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukma Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyama Mritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Hari Om Tat.
Does anyone have any questions for Swamiji? Sri Ram? Yes.
Pranam Gurudev. Gurudev, the supreme witness, is that the one that alerts you from Bahirmukh Vritti to Antarmukh Vritti? If your Antarmukh Vritti is going out, is that the one that brings you back?
Yes. When you have big problems, you come to your house. Sit down, that helps you. That's Antarmukh. The supreme witness is the ultimate. But as you are moving towards it, you begin to witness. From a higher level, you witness the weaknesses of your lower stages of your personality. When you wake up, then you witness what dream has brought to you. So witnessing term doesn't mean always, witness doesn't mean always the absolute. The witness simply means you are able to study your own mind. And your being able to study becomes more and more subtle as you integrate and progress in your sadhana. And ultimately, there is nothing but the witness, but nothing to witness. Sun is the witness of all illuminations. From sun's point of view, there is nothing to witness. Okay.
We have one more question. We talked about earlier that Chitta is not self-effulgent in contradistinction with Brahman. What is the significance of that self-effulgence?
Chitta itself doesn't have all the power to create the world. All Chitta has done is like a dream. So nothing that Chitta has brought, Chitta brings on the basis of thought waves, vrittis. The vrittis create drama, just like the projections on a screen. So therefore, all that cinema show has done has not created anything. The screen alone is real. That's the point being brought out.
Thank you, Gurudev.
So we look forward to tomorrow at 7:30 when Swamiji will continue this glorious topic, and the way he does it enables us to laugh joyfully, heartily, and freely at our stupidity of our egos and all its dull-wittedness. And we conclude.